Once considered a quiet player in the national rail scene, Missouri is now making noise. Amtrak's booming operations in the state mark a dramatic shift from decades of underutilized service to a new era of rail enthusiasm. Hop aboard as we journey through this transformation only on today's edition of Great Trainspeed. This video was made with a huge help from Aaron Frizzell Photography, Greater St. Louis area, and other creators. Be sure to subscribe to their channels and help grow the community together. In fiscal year 2024, Amtrak ran an average of 16 intercity trains per day across 4 permanent routes serving Missouri, with more than 725,400 total passengers boarding or alighting in the state, delivered via 2 state-supported corridors and 2 long-distance lines. On the state side, the Lincoln service offers 4 daily round-trip trains, while the Missouri River Runner offers 2. On the long-distance side, the Southwest Chief runs 1 daily round-trip, and the Texas Eagle offers 1 daily round-trip, with cars 3 times a week continuing to or arriving from Los Angeles by attaching to the Sunset Limited. Looks like the number of services really hits the sweet spot for this region, don't you think? Now, here's the catch that shapes how those trains perform. Outside the Northeast Corridor, most Amtrak trains in Missouri run on tracks owned by freight host railroads, and the host control dispatching. By law, passenger trains are supposed to receive preference, but in practice, many host-dispatched trains still arrive late and fall short of FRA on-time standards, an issue that affects millions of riders every year. Amtrak's fiscal year scorecard in 2024 for Missouri makes the spread clear when you look at full route customer on-time performance alongside each route's in-state host. The Missouri River Runner on Union Pacific tops the list at 84.2% on time, while the Lincoln service, also on UP, lands at 71.5%. The long-distance picture is rougher, with the Texas Eagle on UP at 62.5% and the Southwest Chief on BNSF struggling at just 34.0%. Bottom line, when the hosts call the shots, reliability hinges on how consistently they prioritize passenger trains, solid on the shorter Missouri corridors most days, and a lot more variable once you're stretching out on the long hauls. So why do we say Amtrak is booming in Missouri? Stick around. Next up, we'll show you the routes, the numbers, and the real-world wins riders are feeling. And if this is your kind of rail talk, tap subscribe now so you never miss a fresh update from the world of trains. Let's put this in plain talk. Texas is huge, with about 268,600 square miles and roughly 31 million people, while Missouri is a tighter 69,700 square miles with about 6.2 million residents. But when you zoom in on intercity passenger rail, Missouri often feels more connected. Texas kind of flips it. Great city and regional rail, but thinner intercity options, the Texas Eagle, the Heartland Flyer, and the Sunset Limited, but big pairs like Dallas-Houston still don't have Amtrak service. Moreover, the funding crisis of the Heartland Flyer shows that Texas is not really ready for rail like Missouri. Even though the Heartland Flyer had been gaining riders 25,800 in January and climbing past 30,000 in February 2025, it suddenly stared down a potential shutdown. Texas lawmakers debated a budget that would cut all state funding, which could have forced the train to stop running as early as June. It was a huge blow for a corridor that was finally showing real growth. Here's the wild part. Texas had been covering less than half of the Flyer's $2.5 million annual operating cost, and that contribution hadn't budged in more than a decade. The only reason it didn't sink deeper was a quick move recently approved to plug the gap. It kept the lights on for the moment, but without a long-term fix, the Flyer's future remained shaky. Now, swing over to Missouri, and it's a totally different picture. Lawmakers there just greenlit a record $19.2 million for their passenger service, with $17.5 million set aside just to keep the twice-daily schedule on track. And that's not all. They've already earmarked another $1.7 million to launch a third daily River Runner round trip by April 2026. That means more trains, more options, and more momentum for the corridor linking Kansas City, Jefferson City, and St. Louis. The numbers back that up. Ridership jumped to 187,750 in 2023, up 22.6% year over year, then climbed again to nearly 197,000 at an average fare of about $36.30. Even while on-time performance slipped nationwide, the River Runner still showed up strong at 84.2% customer on-time performance. That's the number riders actually feel. Did I get there when I expected? When a train hits that mark consistently, people plan around it, and they come back. And 2025 proved it. Ridership jumped another 8.3%, the biggest bump in more than 20 years and the best total since 2001. In plain talk, Missourians are picking the train over I-70 traffic. Students, families, day trip business travelers, it's becoming the go-to move. Now, it's not all smooth sailing. In state fiscal year 2025, the River Runner's on-time performance slipped to about 56%, a reminder that freight interference is still a thing. That's a real milestone. More flexibility for business and leisure trips, a stronger alternative to driving, and a clear signal that passenger rail is part of the state's core transportation mix. The mission now is simple: turn that funding into reliability, better on-time performance, tighter schedules, consistent quality, so the trust keeps building and the ridership keeps climbing. Do you think these efforts can keep Missouri moving forward? Drop 1 if you believe they can, or 0 if you think otherwise. And to achieve their simple goal, several projects have been announced. First of all, Missouri is doubling down on passenger rail. Through the State Passenger Rail Assistance Program, the state helps cover direct operating costs on the Kansas City, Jefferson City, and St. Louis corridor, and provides small grants to cities that maintain their own stations. For fiscal year 2025, the governor recommends $1.5 million to support Amtrak service on this route, plus $10,000 from the State Transportation Fund for station upgrades, steady, nuts and bolts funding to keep the corridor reliable and accessible. Layered on top of that is federal relief. Under the American Rescue Plan Act, Missouri received about $2.7 billion in state fiscal recovery funds to counter COVID-19 impacts and invest in long-lived assets like broadband and transportation. Carrollton already has the funding from this act, backed by the Missouri General Assembly, to develop an Amtrak stop. The holdup isn't Amtrak, it's BNSF, the host railroad, and the city is still waiting on their requirements. The stop would be on the Southwest Chief, the daily Chicago-Los Angeles train that already serves Kansas City and La Plata. At the latest council update, Mayor Susie Bliss urged residents to contact lawmakers, especially Representative Sam Graves, who chairs the House Transportation Committee. If BNSF signs off, those state operating dollars plus ARPA capital can turn into better station access, stronger intercity travel, and a more resilient rail network for Missouri riders. And recently, Kirkwood's historic 1893 train station is getting a full top-to-bottom restoration, and the work is already underway. A temporary station opened on June 10, 2025, while crews disconnected utilities, began interior demolition and asbestos abatement, and started removing the slate roof on July 22nd. The parking lot between the station is closed through late fall as crews prep new site utilities, a geothermal HVAC system, and a rebuilt lot. The goal? Finish everything by June 2026. The project is backed by East-West Gateway's Transportation Alternatives program and focuses on preserving the station's Richardsonian Romanesque character while fixing what needs fixing, lighting, HVAC, roof structure, windows, and ADA access. It will also bring back the covered passenger platform lost before 1985, add a small, historically compatible storage building, rebuild the outdoor plaza, and modernize restrooms and safety systems. When it's done, the station will keep doing what it does best: serve as one of Missouri's busiest Amtrak hubs and a trailhead for cyclists headed to the Katy and future Rock Island trails. It'll double as a visitor center, a rail fan favorite, an event venue, and home to art at the station. All while staying a standout example of late 19th century architecture. Missouri's intercity rail is on a roll, with good coverage now, rising demand on the River Runner, and real money going into more trips and better stations. The sticking point is host railroad delays. If the state and partners tighten up dispatching and boost on-time performance, this momentum will turn into long-term growth. Thanks for watching.